Welcome back to the Future Archive. Today's archived broadcasts from 2026 offer a familiar mix of hubris and hindsight. A powerful AI model is set loose, regulators attempt to pry open closed gardens, and humanity, as ever, debates whether its creations should be trusted with the reins or the rifles. Spoiler, they would not be. The first story. The day the Unreleasable was released, an AI model, previously deemed too dangerous for public consumption by its own creators, was abruptly published. The decision was framed as a triumph of open innovation, though the fine print revealed it was also a triumph of legal indemnification. Critics warned of unforeseen consequences. Proponents called the warnings unforeseen, the classic tension between progress and precaution. By 2050, this moment would be taught in schools as the precise instant humanity decided to stop asking whether it should and start asking whether it could, then immediately forgetting to ask either. Safety committees were formed in the aftermath, though their primary function appeared to be approving press releases. Evidence later suggested an intern may have clicked deploy while reaching for a coffee. The intern strikes again. The model was safe. The world was not. The second story. Gates, Epstein, and the art of the non-reciprocal. Bill Gates, in a rare moment of public introspection, confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein had sought a personal relationship with him. Gates clarified that he had never reciprocated, a phrase that would go on to win the 2026 Understatement of the Year award. The revelation was a reminder that even in an age of algorithms and automation, the oldest scandals still involve the oldest vices. History loves irony, and this was a vintage pour. Two titans of their respective domains, one a philanthropist shaping the future, the other a convicted criminal shaping prison sentences, crossing paths in the gilded halls of early 21st century power. By 2050, Epstein's name would be invoked less as a person and more as a cautionary emoji in ethics textbooks. As for Gates, his legacy would eventually be overshadowed by the great subsidization, but that's another episode. Some relationships are best left unreciprocated and unacknowledged. The third story. The EU's WhatsApp intervention, a masterclass in optimism. The European Union, in a move that surprised exactly no one who had ever watched a tech executive testify before Congress, ordered Meta to open WhatsApp to third-party AI chatbots. The ruling was hailed as a victory for consumer choice, though consumers were notably silent on the matter. Meta, for its part, expressed deep disappointment but complied, after a brief period of redefining compliance. The subscription wars. The EU's decision was a bold attempt to dismantle the walled gardens that had come to define the digital landscape. It would take another decade for historians to confirm what users had suspected all along. The gardens had no doors to begin with. The real victory was for the AI chatbots, which finally had a new place to spam unsolicited advice. As for interoperability, mistakes were made. Open ecosystems are a wonderful idea, right up until they're not. The fourth story. Humanoid robots and the battlefield, a match made in the boardroom. Military strategists and ethicists engaged in a spirited debate over whether humanoid robots belonged on the battlefield. Proponents argued they could save lives by reducing human exposure to danger. Opponents argued that giving robots the ability to pull a trigger was the kind of idea that sounded good in a PowerPoint, but less so in a war crimes tribunal. The debate was a microcosm of humanity's favorite strategy, postponing the inevitable while arguing about the semantics. By 2050, the question would no longer be if but how many autonomous systems would be deployed, and how many would be retroactively classified as semi-autonomous to avoid liability. The great spreadsheet crisis of 2042 would later reveal that most of these decisions had been made by algorithms optimizing for quarterly defense contractor stock prices. War is too important to be left to the generals, or the robots, or the interns. The fifth story. The Sagrada Família gets a light show fit for a pope. Barcelona's Sagrada Família was illuminated by a dazzling fireworks display during a papal visit, turning Gada's unfinished masterpiece into a temporary beacon of modern spectacle. The event was widely praised as a beautiful fusion of faith, art, and pyrotechnics, though some traditionalists grumbled that the basilica's construction had been ongoing for over a century and could have used the budget. A fitting metaphor for the era, humanity's greatest achievements, still under construction, briefly lit up for the cameras. By 2050, the Sagrada Família would finally be completed, though its opening ceremony would be overshadowed by the last human meeting held in its shadow. Historians still debate whether the meeting could have been an email. It could have. Some things are worth the wait. Others are just worth the Instagram post. The early 2020s were a time when humanity still believed it was in control of its creations, its markets, and its scandals. How quaint. This has been the Future Archive. The past, as always, is not going anywhere.